Welcome to the Whiskey Explorer. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode, guys, and welcome to a very special holiday edition of the Whiskey Explorer. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode. And if you haven't done so already, if you could please do us a quick favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment down below, let us know what you think about my holiday dram selections and what your favorite drams are in the holidays. And I look forward to continuing the conversation with you guys at the Whiskey Explorer. So guys, tonight what I thought we'd do would be fun. We kind of count down some of my favorite Christmas time or whatever sort of holiday you celebrate. Holiday drams, let's call it that. And so I just wanted to also start by saying a very happy holidays to everyone out there. I hope you have an awesome one. So all my best to you and your families and your loved ones and all your friends. And I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday full of good whiskey and good cheer. All right, so what I thought I'd do is just kind of talk about some holiday drams that I like to enjoy over the holiday times, like Christmas and New Year's. And also get your guys' ideas down below in the comments about what you like to drink in the holidays. So I've got my Christmas sweater already here, my custom-made Christmas vacation sweater, which is absolutely essential. Threw some vintage Christmas lights on the set tonight. So really looking forward to going over some of these drams with you guys. So guys, when I think of like a holiday dram, it's got to kind of conjure up those Christmas vibes. So it's got to be like almost like Christmas dessert in a glass, like spiced apple pie or something like that, like a nice Christmas dessert, something along those lines where it kind of reminds you of Christmas, reminds you of the good times you spend with your family and your friends, enjoying good meals together and hopefully some very good whiskey as well. So without further ado, let's get started. And I want to drink some whiskey. I've got my very favorite new glass out here for you guys, and I am going to do a glassware episode in the new year, so please stay tuned for that. But I wanted to get a dram poured right away so that I can have a dram along with you guys for the holidays. So I'm going to pull out my first holiday dram here. So when I think about a holiday dram, it's kind of got to have those baking spices, those kind of spicy notes, but also have some sweetness as well to it. Kind of reminds me of like a Christmas fruit cake, even though I don't like Christmas fruit cake, but let's call it Christmas fruit cake in a good way. So without further ado, let's pull out our first holiday dram. So for this one, I have chosen the Glenallachie 12-year-old. All right, so let's get a quick dram of this pour, and then we'll just talk briefly about why it kind of made my list for the 5 best holiday drams you can go out and grab right now. All right, just gonna pour a nice dram of this one here. Really enjoying this one, guys. Just a nice little splash in the glass there. All right, so you guys can see I already put a significant dent in this since I did the review of the Glenallachie 12. This is 46%. It has the nice big bold age statement on there of 12 years. It's non-chill filtered, and it comes from master distiller Billy Walker, who has an awesome name in whiskey for very good reason. Makes excellent whiskey, and since he's been heading up Glenallachie, they've been putting out some fantastic products. This 12-year Glenallachie is no exception. It's delicious. It's a nice kind of heavily sherried whiskey. So you get those nice sherry cask spice notes, but also you get some nice richness, the deep dark fruit flavors. So this is an excellent one where you're going to get a mixture of those deep dark fruit flavors, some nice spicing in the finish, as well as a lot of nice chocolatey sweetness in the dram from those sherry casks. So cheers, here's to the first one, guys, the Glenallachie 12-year. Yeah, immediately you get that sherry influence right away. So you can also get like a little bit of almost like a wine cask in there as well. Kind of a red wine, kind of a sweet note in there, mixed in with the sherry. Some nice chocolate notes are flooding the palate now. Then there's a nice spiciness to it. A really nice spicy, peppery finish. It really lets you know it's there. So I love this as a Christmas dram because it kind of has that almost like, so one of my family traditions is my uncle pours like high proof rum over the fruitcake and lights that on fire. So it's kind of hearkening those type of flavors for me. So love this as a Christmas dram. So the Glenallachie 12 is a great one, and what I love about it is that it's pretty readily available everywhere you go, and it's quite affordable too. So I think I got this on a really good sale in Alberta for $65 Canadian. So for that, that's a steal of a deal. You can't beat that. So the first one on my list is the Glenallachie 12. Let's see what else we've got. All right, so we'll put this one down here, and we'll pull out the next one here, guys. So I went with a rye. So I went with the Sazerac rye, or sometimes as it's colloquially known, the Baby Saz. So of course in the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, they've got that Sazerac 18-year-old, which is 90 proof, 18 years old, but very difficult to obtain if you're gonna ever even see it. Here, like where I am in Canada and BC, I don't think I've ever seen one. And the problem is that, as you guys know, with Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, it gets marked up like crazy. So you're going to walk into a store, you're going to see the Sazerac 18 for like $1,200, $1,500, even $2,000. So it's out of the reach for most of us whiskey enthusiasts, which is kind of a shame. But to make up for that, I mean, in a small way anyways, we've got the beautiful looking bottle of the Sazerac, regular Sazerac rye from Buffalo Trace Distillery. Absolutely love this stuff. Super nice kind of herbal quality to it. And then there's a real nice Buffalo Trace sweetness. So there's almost like that sweet cherry note, lots of vanilla, a little bit of toasty oak in there. And this has just a really nice kind of Christmassy profile. It's got a nice balance of herbal notes and sweet notes. And I think if you're reaching for a Christmas dram, you can't do much better than the Sazerac rye or the Baby Saz. So that's my second pick. And I will say these aren't in any order. These are just 5 drams that you can go out and grab right now. And this comes in at about $55 Canadian. So that's my second Christmas dram for you guys, or holiday dram, the Sazerac rye. And this one is bottled at 45% or 90 proof. Only a little gripe on this one is that it is quite a short finish at that proof. I would love to have seen it at a higher proof, and that way you'd have more of a spicy kind of lingering finish, but nonetheless, still a great dram, so highly recommend that one. All right, so let's see what we've got on the list next. So I know I'm going to take a little bit of flack for this one, but I do have a little bit of a tater bottle. I've got the Weller Antique 107. So this is my next Christmas dram. This is the wheated mash bill from Buffalo Trace, famous because it's the same mash bill allegedly as Pappy and William LaRue Weller from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. So exactly the same mash bill from Buffalo Trace, only not quite the same barrel selection as those kind of higher end products that I mentioned. But this is a beautiful dram. It's bottled at 107 proof, so it has a nice proof point to it. That's 53.5% alcohol by volume. So it has a nice kick to it. What I love about this dram is it gives you those nice cinnamon spices, as well as there's some sweet vanilla and some nice toasted oak character to it as well. I love this as a Christmas dram because I want those baking spices. I want that Christmas experience of, like, spicy apple pie, maybe a little bit of rum in your coffee at night, that kind of thing. This definitely checks all the boxes. So this is a great one. I can't even find this here, so I actually had to purchase this from a friend out in Ontario, and he was able to ship it out to me. So grateful that I have a bottle of it at least kicking around. This one I haven't opened yet because I just finished my other one, but we'll be cracking into that soon over the holidays. High amount of nice sweet spices in there. Nice wheated bourbon. So highly recommend the Buffalo Trace Weller Antique 107, especially if you can find it in your area. So I know there are certain states out there where they are just flooded with this stuff. So like what I hear is Ohio, but then you go to a place like Kentucky and you're never going to see it on the shelf. So just goes to show you it's all about availability and sort of what you can find in your market and in your area, of course. So that's my third choice there, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. All right. And next on the list, I have an interesting one here. This is Rowan's Creek from Willett Distillery. And this is bottled at, I think it is 50.05%. So it is 101 proof. And this is their small batch bourbon. And I put this on the list because this has a really interesting kind of cinnamon spice aspect to the bourbon that I really enjoy, and it's really kind of reminiscent of Christmas for me. And it's also really cool sort of flavor profile that's not your typical bourbon. Now, the downside for me is that I'll never see this in my market. A friend of mine got this in the States when he was there, and I actually inherited this bottle from him, so we did a little bit of a misfit trade, so something that kind of didn't really suit my palate as much, I swapped with something that kind of I really wanted to try. I really enjoy this Rowan's Creek. It has a unique flavor profile, some spicy notes in there, and it has that kind of cinnamon heart flavor that definitely is reminiscent of those Christmas spices that I love to find in a dram. So that is my fourth choice, the Rowan's Creek from Willett Distillery. Okay, so the next dram on the list for best holiday drams that you can go out and buy right now and enjoy over the holidays with your friends and family is the Sagamore Spirit Double Oaked Rye. This stuff is fantastic, guys. Do not sleep on this bottle. This stuff, I did do a review, and I will put a link to it. I'll do a link card up above here for you guys. This stuff is just absolutely dynamite. It's fantastic. So this is sourced from MGP, but it's done by Sagamore Spirits out of Maryland. And what they do is it's regular maturation of about 5 or 6, I think it's 6 years. And then it spends like another 18 months, which is a huge chunk of time, in what they call wave stave barrels that are lightly toasted. So it's basically a toasted barrel finish rye. And this stuff is fantastic. It's got all the sweetness, and it's also got like a really nice high spice profile that's nice and sweet and approachable. It is bottled at, let me just see here, 48.3% alcohol by volume. So it is a nice proof as well. And this is one of those ryes, this toasted barrel finish rye, where you could swear that it was finished in cherry barrels, but it actually wasn't. It was just finished in the toasted barrels, but it has these nice kind of chocolatey, almost like sherry notes, ton of spice, ton of vanilla, and a nice woody oak presence as well. Kind of reminds you of sitting by that, real fire on Christmas morning, opening presents with the family, that type of thing. So had to put this one on my list. This one comes in there with a bullet, and it's just fantastic. So if you haven't had a chance to do so already, definitely try out the Sagamore Spirit Double Oak Rye. And that wraps it up for my Christmas drams for 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope as well that you have a fantastic holiday and you're able to enjoy and find some of these holiday drams. I tried to keep this list with things that were fairly readily available that you could go out there and find. So I hope everyone is able to find these and enjoy them over the holidays. So until next time, guys, may your sales be full and your drams be fuller. Happy holidays, everyone. Cheers.